All right, Jim, our next question was sent via the Cult of Cornette Facebook group by Ian Richings. Hey, Jim, I'm 27 years old, and my dad who introduced me to wrestling...
Sounds like a personal ad. Wait a minute, what's going on here?
And my dad who introduced me to wrestling, now 57 years old, grew up going to shows at the old... I've added old. Grew up going to shows at the Louisville Gardens. My favorite story of his took place during a Jerry Lawler match with Jimmy Hart at ringside. My dad's late stepbrother got so fired up during the match that he socked Jimmy Hart in the neck. Jimmy hit the floor, and my dad, his stepbrother, and stepdad were promptly escorted out. According to my dad, the story ends with Lawler getting Jimmy back on his feet and winking at my dad and his family before putting the boots to Hart. Do you remember this particular instance? And if not, does a similar story come to mind of fans getting a bit too physical at the Gardens?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stories of fans getting too physical at the Gardens. I do not remember one where a guy came up out of the audience and rabbit punched Jimmy Hart, who went down, and Lawler just calmly winked. The one I remember jumping Jimmy when Lawler turned around and saw the guy on top of Hart wailing him in the middle of the ring. He fucking went over and grabbed him. The cops hit the fucking ring, and the cops all grabbed the guy and threw him bodily over the top rope to the floor before almost drawing a gun on Jerry Jarrett, who was hitting the ring on the other side. I wasn't at ringside for every single time that Jerry Lawler and Jimmy Hart were together in Louisville. After I got into business, I missed some of the shows. I'm saying, and I'm sure they were escorted out for potentially trying to do that. Maybe Jimmy was going down because everybody was in a scuffle on the floor. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you that if somebody had nailed Jimmy hard enough that he went down from that, and the cops weren't all over the guy instantly, and if Lawler was in the vicinity, he would have been trying to tear the guy's eyeballs out too until the threat was neutralized. So there may have been a scuffle and a swing, and it maybe have been described there a little bit more grandiose than it was. But no, real violence from the audience, which happened regularly in the Gardens, in the ring, especially in the early mid-70s, was not ever winked at. There was the Bearcat Wright gave that guy probably brain damage one time when the guy tried to punch him, and he kicked him in the head as hard as I've ever seen anybody kick anything with those fucking boots he was wearing. And they got sued over that. There was a time the bounty hunters you remember the guy on room 222 that had the red afro he was a white guy, but had a red, big afro type of head of hair. You remember that?
Not really.
Well, point is, in the 70s, a lot of people had the big heads of hair. This guy tried to get on Jimmy Kent, the bounty hunter's manager, one night. I think he hit the ring to do it. And Jerry Novak ended up with, it looked like he pulled Ronald McDonald's wig off when he grabbed that guy by the head, and he beat his face in with the other hand and then ripped his hair out and was holding it and waving it around the ring. There was all kinds of fan interaction back in those days, but I don't remember him winking at anything.